Alright guys, welcome to our channel. This is Sam Ajayi. Now, are you thinking of a US school you want to apply to and you want to get an assistantship? This video is really for you. I'm telling you, this video is for you. Now you need to pay close attention. Now, searching for school in the US ordinarily is hard work. I'm telling you, there are over 3,000 schools in the US, and you want to search for that single school that will offer you what you want. You want to search for that single school that will offer you an assistantship. I mean, a full funding for that matter. That's what you want to search for. First thing is know that it is hard work. There is no easy way to go about it, to say, oh, I'll just choose this, and it is really hard work, and you really need to search for it. You need to take it as that. So I've listed out some stuff that are very beneficial to you. I took out time to write it, and then if you can pay attention and listen and put these things into practice, I'm telling you, the very next fall you'll be getting into your school of your choice. Now, first thing, passion versus what is funded. What do I mean by that? You have a passion in a particular research, you think that is what you should do, you think that is what you want, you think that is what you like, and that your passion is not readily funded. Funding is not readily available for that passion. Let me give you an example. I did physics as an undergraduate, and then my masters in my masters I did back in Nigeria. I did radiation and health physics, and ordinarily I got interested in medical physics and I wanted to do medical physics. But when I started searching out for schools in US, I discovered that not very many schools offer medical physics. Not very many schools do medical physics. And then what did I do? I started changing to what is being funded. What I discovered is that condensed matter physics was there was so much research going on in condensed matter physics. There was so much funding left, right, and then I felt like, wow, I need to write something, because from my interactions with professors here, I discovered that many of them want to do the research where there is the funding. You get, in fact, the slang they use is that nobody wants to do research where there is no funding. So they want to be flexible. In fact, a professor of chemistry told me that you have to be flexible. You don't have to fully define yourself so that you become so tight and rigid. Now, I believe that should apply to us, those who are applying to schools too. You don't want to put yourself in a tight corner and become so rigid, okay? And then you say, no, you are denied again, because many times you don't know why your application is being denied. You are thinking, oh, my application is superb, but I didn't get funding for it. I mean, I was not offered assistantship. They just offered me an admission, probably because you are good. They saw the result and all those stuff, and they think, oh, let's give this guy a try if you can pay the money. And then you are wondering why. These are some of the reasons, okay? So I switched. I started writing my statement of purpose based on condensed matter physics. Okay, I got an offer sometimes. At the point in time, I got an offer, but without funding. Now, one thing that really opened my eyes to the situation was an interview I had with University of South Florida. I was called, and an email was sent to me, and then we scheduled an interview. And the question I was asked was this: am I rigid with that my research interest about medical physics? I wrote for medical physics at USF, and I was asked, am I so rigid, or would I be willing to make some compromise if need be? Would I be willing to change if need be? Would I be willing to change to another field? Not field per se, to another research area. And I said, of course, yes. So I listed out some research faculties I've searched through their research interests. I made it known that, okay, I'm very flexible. I also have interest in this and that. And one reason also is that the slot for medical physics is like 1 or 2 per year. And those they even consider for medical physics are either from another discipline or from another domestic student. I can't really remember exactly what the reason was. So I made it known that, okay, I'm ready to change. And then clearly I was told there will be no funding if I go for medical physics. That means they are funding in other areas. Now, if I was not called, if the video call was not scheduled, I wouldn't have known what was happening there. I would have just seen that, okay, I was offered admission and then I didn't see funding. I would have just seen that I was off. In fact, in the worst case, I wouldn't be admitted. If such schools have a policy of not admitting those, they won't be funding. Okay, so your passion versus what is funded need to be balanced, because you can do what is funded and you still come out later and do what your passion is. When you get that PhD you want, the MSc you want, you can still, there's a way, you see, research is not rigid, is flexible. You have to be flexible with it. The direction can change as time goes on. So even though you have a passion, yeah, we know you have the passion, but try and go for what is funded. Very many people are not getting assistantships because they are going for what is not funded readily. So you want to go for a school that has funding for such. When you look at that school, you want to see how much funding is available on this so area. You want to see how many people, how many research faculty are being funded on NSF grants, on this grant, that grant. You want to be sure that there is funding available for what you are going for. I know someone, we met on Twitter. I mean, he entered the United States this year, January. I think he went straight to be an RA. I mean, because he went to what is being funded. Straight to be an RA. I have a friend there in FSC too. He went straight to be an RA, straight to research. Of course, he's doing some classwork, but he started research straight away. Started working with his professor straight away because he's doing what is being funded. Okay. Now that said, you also want to look, when you are searching for schools, you want to see schools, you want to check the acceptance rate. What is the acceptance rate of this school? Okay, how many people are being accepted per year? You want to see how many people are being accepted per admission pool. You want to see, are these people offered assistantships? Many schools put the information there. For example, schools will admit, let's say, 20 people. Out of these 20 people, how many people were offered assistantship? How many people were offered full funding? Okay, because what you are going for is full funding. So you want to see 50% or 100%. There are some schools, they offer everyone they admit. Let me say departments in some schools. They offer everyone they admit full funding. For me, that's what I love. In my department, for example, everyone I know, they are funded. Everyone. No one is paying his own school fees. Everyone is funded. And there are some schools, they offer a small percentage of people. They offer them funding while others are meant to pay this tuition fee themselves. So you want to see this school, okay, if I'm offered admission, what is the percentage that will be offered full funding? For me, when I was choosing FSU, I knew that when I'm offered admission, 100%, I'm 100% certain I'll be offered full funding. And yes, that's what I got. I got full funding. So you want to be sure that this school that you are going for is offering everyone that has been admitted full funding. Or if you want to take the chances, if you think you have necessary requirements, if you think you have it, and then you go for schools that offer 50%. If they offer 50% of those admitted funding, and you think, oh, I have the next requirement, you can go for it, yeah. But you just want to count the costs. You want to count the cost before doing that. You want to be sure what you are doing. You want to be sure. In fact, there are some schools that they don't offer. You would have seen it the previous years. They didn't offer anyone funding. You don't want to apply to such schools. You don't. In fact, even if their requirements are so low, you don't want, because you won't be an exception. You won't be offered funding. So you must be careful about that. You want to check, do they offer funding, assistantship to everyone? Do they offer full funding to everyone? Do they offer at all? And all those stuff. Remember, the first thing I said is you want to see how much funding they are having. Okay, how much funding they are having. Now, in fact, before I go to some other things I wrote down here concerning funding, there is this Carnegie classification of schools. is according to research output, research funding, research output, and all those stuff. You want to see how schools are classified. You want to see how much research activity is going on. Now, when you see so much research activity going on, it also attests to the fact that many of these guys receive funding. When there's so much research activity going on, when there's so much output from the faculty, it shows that no, there is funding coming here, and then it's yielding result. Those are some of the things you really want to look for. I'll post the link to the Canadian classification of schools so you can see what I'm talking about there. Schools are classified according to their research capacity, capability, and all those stuff. Now, for me personally, talking about how many are offering assistantship, I prefer schools that offer assistantship to all that are admitted. I mean, that's what I prefer, that's what I love, and that's what I usually go for. Yeah, some may say, okay, let me just take, let me gamble, let me see if I'll be offered, and then they go for other schools that are not offering to everyone. Okay, for me, I love going for those who offer assistantship to everyone admitted. And of course, that means that you must be very competitive yourself too, because there will be very many people in that pool trying to get that admission by force. All right. Now, there are schools with very less requirements, but sometimes they may not be very generous with their funding. Their requirement may be so less, so low. Some will not require GRE, some will not require TOEFL. The application fee is free. When you see such schools, it's good to apply. Try applying, but there is the probability that they will be offering full funding to everyone is very low. Such schools, the probability that they will be offering full funding to everyone is very, very, very low. Now, while applying to such schools, you want to make sure that you have all the necessary documents, all the necessary requirements, even though they don't require it. Okay, because such schools, there will be very many students that will apply to it. Is a strategy to attract students to schools. Okay, when you see no admission, no application fee, no GRE, no TOEFL, no official transcript, no West evaluation, all those stuff. Now, very many students will apply there because it requires less stress. Okay, but what you want to do is that you want to make sure that while applying to such schools, you have all those requirements. You have your GRE with you, possibly your TOEFL if you can do it, and possibly you have any other requirement that you think will make you stand out. Now, because out of the pool of students that will apply, they begin to select students. Now, if they will be offering assistantship at all, they want to offer to students who they think are ranking very high in the pool. Okay, so what you want to do is, if you're applying to such schools, submit all those your documents, submit everything that will stand you out of the crowd, and then you can have the opportunity of gaining the full the assistantship. Even if they won't be offering it to everyone, there will be some of those that will be considered if you can do such a thing. So you want to make sure that's why I usually advise people generally that irrespective of the school you are choosing for US, write the GRE. It's very important. For me, I believe you should write the GRE. Write the GRE irrespective of whatever. Write the GRE. If you can, write the TOEFL. I will still share some examples at the end for you to see my own example, and of some people that I know, things that happen in the admission journey. Okay, so be careful with those schools. Don't say, well, because they didn't request for it, I won't submit. Try and submit to those you can. Those you have, try and submit it. That will stand you out. The best they will do is they give assistantship to probably the first 50%. If they want to admit 20, for example, they may say, the first 10 they will give them assistantship. The others, they will ask them to fund themselves. Usually, many people decline. Now, some of the things you want to see in the website of university is how many people are declining, how many people are admitted, how many people are accepting the offer. If you see students rejecting a school's offer, and then not very many people out of the students admitted are getting enrolled, you want to see the enrollment rate. If not very many students are getting enrolled, that should tell you something, that it's either that the school is, of course, not very ranking so high, or they are not offering such student assistantship, and the students are choosing to go somewhere else where they are offered the assistantship. So you want to see those information. You want to be sure that students are enrolling after they are getting admitted. That will work so much for you. Okay, so I wrote here, better to have more qualifications and be competitive than not to have it and not be competitive. Okay, so if you don't have it, they just, okay, they want to see those who are high ranking, they just give them their assistantship. Others, they ask them, find your way. If you can pay. If you can't, do what you want to do. They just ask you to do what you can do. Now, I want you to see it as a job application. You're applying for a job and there are so many candidates. You want to put your best foot out. You want to put everything you have out. You want to stand out amidst the contestants. Okay, and take note, there are very many schools in US. In fact, there will be some schools that in a certain year, they will be wishing that students apply to them. They won't receive enough applications, so that it is possible that even in such schools, all students who apply we get, almost all students who apply we get the funding even when they don't have. So that's why you want to take your time to search all schools. You want to take your time to search the acceptance rate, the enrollment rate. You want to take your time to search how many people are offered assistantship and all those stuff. It's not necessarily about the ranking. Okay, there's a general thinking that, okay, when I apply to a school with low ranking, low requirement, I will get admitted. First of application I tried to do, I applied, one of the schools I applied to is Kansas State University. So I was looking at their requirements and I was like, these things are low. I have all these. Of course, I didn't do TOEFL then. I had GRE, I wrote SOP and all those stuff. And I felt like this requirement is low. I should get it. But really, I thought I was rejected there. Now, the problem could be that there are very many people with higher requirements and with higher qualifications than what I presented. And those people will get considered first before me. Now, when I applied to, myself and some friends, we applied to Michigan Tech University. Then, funny enough, the three of us got the admission, but the three of us were not given funding. And our results were good, all those stuff. And I know another friend who applied there, and then he got funding in another department. Now, what's the difference? This guy, I know he has written publications, done all those stuff, very many things, and he was admitted. We were admitted with funding. We were admitted without funding. Okay, and I was speaking with a friend. One of us was speaking with that friend who was admitted with full funding, and he said, "Oh, that department they give admission to some other certain people, and I know that those people have qualifications. They do all those stuff, so they have all those superior in quotes qualifications." Okay, so the admission pool usually determines how the likelihood of you getting admission. So it's possible that you apply to a school a certain year, you don't get funding, you apply to it the second year and you get full funding, because the admission pool changes per year. It's the qualifications of the admission of the candidates that determines those who get the funding, that determines those who are admitted. All right. In fact, FSU, see my school, Florida State University, FSU, the first time I applied, I was not accepted, I was rejected. But the second time, I was accepted. Okay. But what did I do before the second time? I wrote TOEFL. I just felt like I need to do something to stand me out. I need to make me different. And funny enough, TOEFL was not, when I got on campus here, most of the international students, almost all the international students wrote a proficiency exam for English, but Nigeria was exempted. Yet I submitted TOEFL just to make my applications so different. So you can turn the tide around. You can turn the tide around and do things to make things different, to make your own application look very different and unique from others by submitting things others did not have, submitting things they couldn't submit because they felt it's not necessary. Okay, that makes your application stand out. So I feel like just naming some schools. You're thinking, okay, which school should I apply for? Over 3,000 schools. You don't expect me to know all. I just want to name some schools where I've applied to before, where I have friends who are studying currently and all those stuff. For example, my school, Florida State University, good school, is one of the preeminent universities in Florida State. Yeah, all right. There's University of South Florida. I applied there. I didn't accept the admission. I mean, I told them not to worry again. So I know the person that eventually got it, even in the same physics, is a Nigerian too. University of South Florida. There's University of Florida too. I know someone who is coming there this fall from Nigeria too. Is a Nigerian. University of Florida. I have a friend in City University of New York. In New York, I have a friend there. I have a friend in Oklahoma, Stillwaters, Oklahoma. There's a school there. I've forgotten the name. You can search it, Stillwaters, Oklahoma. Okay. I have a friend in University of Mississippi. He's a Nigerian too. I have a friend in Michigan Tech University. Okay. I have a friend who finished from University of Missouri. Is it Missouri, if I'm correct? Somewhere around that side. Many other schools. I have different schools. So it is your duty, just know it is your duty to search these schools out. It is your duty to search these schools out. So I'll still be coming with more tips as I put them down. But before then, I want to subscribe to our channel. Okay, myself and my wife will be saying some beautiful things. It's just our life basically that we are pouring out. Different skills, our uniqueness, that's what we are pouring out. And we believe people can get blessed with all these stuff. We believe you can get informed, you can get blessed, of course, informed, and then you get to have direction for what you want to do. So please, I beg, Biko, please subscribe to our channel. Really subscribe to our channel. Just hit the subscribe button. It's not hard. Please hit the subscribe button. Get us to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, let's get there and let's keep flying. We fly together, you know. Okay, so if you are getting something good from us, come on, subscribe. All right, we'll see you in our next video. Till then, see you. Catch ya.